Okay, welcome back everybody. It's April 5th. Today we're going to cover another example of how Todd Cantamessa has violated my rights, disregarded the courts, lied to the courts, and also in this episode of How Low Can Todd Cantamessa Sink, we're going to provide evidence of him writing his own order. Effectively, he nominates himself district court judge, confirms himself, and again, he goes ahead and writes his own first court order. Well, I correct that. Likely not his first. Probably the first one he's ever had publicized in this type of way on YouTube with all the supporting evidence for any person to no doubt agree that, in fact, he has broken the law and violated my rights. Here's just another example of how Todd Cantamessa, United States probation supervisor, has got his hand caught in the cookie jar. One of dozens of examples that I've been able to put forward here. This one, like the others, will be as persuasive, if not more so in some cases. In this scenario, you're going to get to hear the actual judge speaking in a video recorded hearing. You're going to get to listen to Todd Cantamessa speak at that hearing, United States probation supervisor in Eugene, Oregon. You're going to get to hear Adam Delf of the U.S. Attorney's Office, the AUSA, handling this case. You're going to hear the worst attorney in the world, Kurt Hermanson, my federal defender that was provided to me by the court. You're also going to hear some remarks by myself.
I'm going to place you on electronic monitoring right now, and with a curfew. Mr. Cantamessa, place you on electronic monitoring with some type of reasonable curfew.
The U.S. Attorney's comments this morning, and we will proceed however the court wishes us to do.
That's what Todd the Fraud writes. Again, just 2 hours after the hearing. So, I don't think you could get a better example of him just being caught being a con artist. I mean, there's no other way around it. How do you get a takeaway after that 2.5 hours later and you craft this? I mean, either you need to wear cuffs or somebody needs to show you the door in a retirement chair. You know, perhaps it's some kind of Alzheimer's or something like that, you know, or some other type of explanation that's medical or you know, some kind of, you know, chemically based thing. Perhaps drugs and alcohol could account for this kind of bizarre behavior. But again, take that side of the debate if you'd like. In either case, get this guy the hell out of the United States Probation Office. To think that he's actually supervising the next generation or the next, you know, class, if you will, of probation officers that will serve the courts in the coming decades is scary. I mean, it's absolutely scary. You know, again, you want the credibility, you want the reputation back. Distance yourself from this guy ASAP. Align yourself with him, stand behind him, rally to his defense. Well, the next video will be about you. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. We're not going to let this movement go. We're not going to stop this until there's justice. And this is what this boils down to. These are racially driven things. These are things that I guarantee you he can't show an example of having happened to a white person, you know, so to speak. You know, I don't know what else to call it. It's just what it is. And so I think the outrage that you've seen and the type of people that have come behind me and stood behind me and the reasons why they have stood behind me are all on the level. I mean, the law's on my side. The truth is on my side. I don't ask you to believe me. I don't ask you to take my word for it. That's what Todd Cantamesa's relied upon and what's provided him the opportunity to manipulate the situation and violate my rights. He's trusted and therefore wasn't asked to demonstrate anything, wasn't asked to prove anything. And when it came down to it, as it should be, I mean, I'm not trying to talk against myself here, but it should be and probably is the case in most scenarios. I mean, likely is the majority of scenarios where the probation officer is speaking the truth and the client is the slippery, you know, ex-con, if you will, trying to avoid consequences for his behavior. So that's likely what the scenario is 90+% of the time. In this case, it's absolutely not. In fact, it's the opposite. I'm the one providing the truth. I'm the source you can count on for getting reality, for getting an accounting of what happened, what actually transpired. No fiction, no creative writing, no contrived stories and half stories, you know, no manipulation of the court, no scandalous wording of things and deliberate, you know, trying to cover your ass type behavior is coming out of me, period, point blank. As you can see with this YouTube channel, I'm so transparent. It does not get any more transparent than that, than what I've done. I've given you unadulterated access to my email accounts. I've given you unadulterated access to my conversations with the world's worst attorney in the history of attorneys, Kurt Hermanson of Eugene Federal Defenders. And now get rid of that guy too when this airs. I mean, if he doesn't just hang it up himself out of embarrassment, the AO's office needs to fire him as well. So again, I've given you the attorney conversations, recorded conversations, every syllable spoken between myself and Todd Cantamessa. I've given you the hearings recorded in video. What else do you need? I mean, I'm wide open. Now, speaking of wide open, let's discuss the topic of an upcoming video, and that is going to be FOIA. That's going to be Todd Cantamessa's, Danielle Designoy's, and others within that office, all of their phone records, all of their email records, subpoenaed or FOIA'd from their possession into the public's possession, so that we can kind of put the whole thing together in more of a cogent and comprehensive way. You know, I think they'll reveal quite a bit. There's a whole other component that the civil attorneys and there's a different component to this that links them to another act of treachery, a different type of scandalous aspect to this. So I'll pick that up and pick it up in the next video. Now, there is a different argument that can be posed here. Some of you may be saying, hey, Michael, you're going kind of hard on the guy. Have you given thought to the fact that perhaps he is somehow deficient or lacking the capacity to recall things, legitimately having some kind of medical issue, or perhaps there's a chemical reason, substance abuse, alcoholism. Wouldn't be the first time we've seen Todd Cantamessa smashed. I mean, just go see the videos.
System. U.S. probation officers are committed to proactive